Barry and I have known each other for many years. In fact, we commenced our interest in politics and community building around the same time back in the early 80s, when we were both involved as volunteers with a political campaign for the late John Sweeney, an incredible individual. In the years between then and when Barry entered politics in 1994, we would run into each other at various community and political gatherings. Once Barry entered political life himself, our paths began to cross much more often. Anytime we met, what stood out for me was his passion for community building, his smile, and his infectious laugh that you can recognize in a room. Over the years, we have been involved in many activities together, including our time on the Wilfrid Laurier University Board of Governors, supporting initiatives like Nutrition for Learning or the museum in downtown Kitchener. In fact, one of my fond memories of Barry comes from when I convinced him and our equally fun-loving police chief, Brian Larkin, to don large afros, crazy shades, and outrageous outfits to support a fundraiser for the museum. While many of my memories are fun-loving, the one thing that stands out for me the most is Barry's passion for the people of Kitchener and his professionalism as an elected official. They are always first and foremost. Barry was raised by a mother with a strong moral compass. And over the course of his career and his life, he has never wavered from the principle that all people are equal and deserve a voice. He is equally comfortable to speak with one of our community's marginalized as he is with our Prime Minister. As mayor, Barry has worked tirelessly and has shown he is as committed to growing strong neighborhoods as he is to ensuring that Kitchener has a vibrant economy today and in the future. Ladies and gentlemen, please join me in welcoming Kitchener Mayor Vrbanovic.
Well, good evening, everyone. Never doubt that a small group of thoughtful, committed citizens can change the world. Indeed, it's the only thing that ever has. These words, made famous by academic and anthropologist Margaret Mead, ring true as much today as they did over 50 years ago when they were first spoken. In fact, it is that group of thoughtful, committed citizens, our Kitchener residents and business owners, who have increasingly become engaged in building a better and more caring Kitchener. Mary, thank you very much for that kind introduction. As you said, we go back with lots of memories, some probably that we can talk about here, some that we can't, but I think we all spend a lot of great time together building a great community. And while you did reference my mom, who unfortunately couldn't be here this evening, I am joined by my godparents, Boris and Carol Spisak, who are here this evening. As we begin this evening's address, I'd like to reflect on how we all got here today. For me, as a first-generation immigrant, it was back in 1969. For others, it was many generations ago. But regardless of how or when we arrived, we are all citizens in this great country, creating community on the lands originally traversed by Indigenous peoples. And so I'd like to begin by acknowledging that the lands on which we gather today is the land traditionally used by the Haudenosaunee, Anishinaabe, and Neutral people. We also acknowledge and take a moment to reflect upon the enduring presence and deep traditional knowledge, laws, and philosophies of the Indigenous people with whom we share this land today. Good evening, and thank you all for being here this evening. I recall being in this great space a little more than a year ago when Curtis McBride, CEO and co-founder of MyoVision, and Frank Voisin hosted a launch event introducing their vision for this transformational collaborative workspace. Now, less than 2 years later, Catalyst 137 is coming to life. When they first shared their idea for Catalyst with me a few years ago, what I loved about their concept was the opportunity it presented in growing our economy, creating jobs, and advancing our city and region on a global scale. Their vision for this innovation space was to have it blend in seamlessly with the neighborhood around it, leveraging the strength of its location to build our economy and to contribute to a great city. Today, Catalyst 137 is home, or becoming home, to many companies, including the growing traffic management company Myovision, government partners like BDC right behind us, suppliers like Westmount Signs, and Ignite Restaurant Group's newest ventures, including the Graffiti Market, Red Circle Coffee, and Red Circle Brewing Company, who are our food hosts for this evening. Just last week, Kick Interactive, one of our local unicorn companies, announced that they also will be moving into Catalyst 137 as the space that best met their needs for their growing messaging and cryptocurrency company. And just today, the 2018 Global Startup Genome report listed Catalyst 137 as one of the strengths behind the success of the Toronto-Waterloo Region Corridor when it declared the corridor as one of the top 20 technology clusters in the world because it links the country's biggest, most diverse city with one of Canada's leading centres for innovation. Curtis, Frank, thank you for providing this great space tonight as we spend a little time talking about city building, our diverse and dynamic economy, and what it takes to build a caring and innovative community. I've said many times that great cities don't just happen. They're built with passion and purpose, by bold, proactive, and positive leadership, by partnerships and collaboration, and by the pursuit of a common purpose. It can be said that all of these things happen in other cities, and that's true. So what makes city building different in Kitchener? Quite simply, it's our people. Citizens, city staff, volunteers, developers, investors, formal and informal leaders, and yes, even elected officials coming together to do great things. We are all city builders. You are all city builders. At my first State of the City speech, I spent some time talking to you about the city building journey we're on together to build a better Kitchener. Today, I'm going to spend a little time talking about all of the things we've accomplished together, making Kitchener the kind of city where you can make a great living and live a great life. One of our greatest strengths as a city is the diversity of our neighborhoods. We've worked alongside our tremendous neighborhood associations, our community partners, and our citizens to create the spaces, places, and experiences that connect people with one another. We are making our city safer, healthier, and happier, building a sense of community and pride that encourages people to love their hood. And we have a long history of supporting our neighborhoods. For example, about 15 years ago, the City of Kitchener provided a $1,000 grant to the residents of Richwood Court. In an initiative led by the Jones family, the residents of this beautiful court redid the gardens, added some landscaping rocks, new trees, and a pathway. A beautiful space that also serves as a memorial for a neighbor that passed away. This little court has much meaning for a very tight-knit group of residents who love it and call it home. And while it's a place that has been home to some families for upwards of 30 years, with new neighbors on the street, Richwood Court has introduced new traditions, like Saturday morning court coffee. These neighbors have built a strong sense of belonging. The residents of Richwood Court are city builders. A little more than a year ago, Council unanimously approved Love My Hood, Kitchener's first ever neighborhood strategy, designed to encourage and support citizens to lead the way as city builders. We promised you that Love My Hood wouldn't sit on a shelf, and I'm proud to report to you today that we've lived up to that commitment and then some. Since approving Love My Hood, we've worked alongside many citizen volunteers to create new, easy-to-use programs for community gardens, neighborhood markets, and resident-led traffic calming. We've expanded our Snow Angel program, and we've cut the red tape to make it easier for residents to throw a party in their hood, like the Diwali Festival in Councillor Zygyanetsky's Ward 8. What all of these programs have in common is their ability to bring people together, to create community, connections, and relationships that make our city a healthier, happier, more engaged place. A city where you can make a great living and live a great life. 3 years ago, the idea that thousands of people would come together on one specific day to celebrate what it means to be a neighbor was a concept we hoped would resonate with people. On that first Neighbors' Day in June of 2015, approximately 5,000 people took part in one of 20 local events. 3 years later, the number of people celebrating Neighbors' Day has grown by more than 50%. Last year, more than 8,000 people came together at more than 35 local events across the city. This year, Neighbors' Day, Saturday, June the 9th, will be even bigger as residents and neighborhood groups take advantage of the Love My Hood, Host Your Own Event program. Residents like Sarah Clark, president of the Boardwalk Neighborhood Association. Sarah launched the Party in the Park in Resurrection Park in Councillor Bill Ioannidis' Ward 7 4 years ago. And for the past 3 years, Party in the Park has been a hallmark on Neighbors' Day. Together with her neighbors, Sarah is committed to seeing the event grow and thrive, knowing that the success of this one event helps to make her hood safer and more connected. Sarah is a city builder. Through Love My Hood, the financial support to help people come together to do great things in their neighborhoods has also grown. Over the past 3 years, the number of neighborhood matching grants provided to residents has tripled, and the financial resources provided to support this resident-led, city-supported work has increased by more than 1,000%. Last year, 12 grants totaling more than $58,000 were provided to resident groups to help them make their projects happen. These grants supported things like a picnic shelter in Cherry Park, one of the most well-loved community spaces in Councillor Frank Etherington's Ward 9, and the cinema under the stars at Country Hills in Councillor Paul Singh's Ward 6. In Councillor Yvonne Fernandez's Ward 4, a matching grant for the Dune South Meet and Mingle brought people together for conversation, food, and fun, and led to grander discussions about how those neighbors could work together and with the city to explore options to enhance the amenities in Thomas Slee Park. Each of these grants reflect the unique vision of the residents who submitted the requests so they could do great things in their hoods. But they are ideas that can and have inspired others to do more. And through a new Love My Hood website, we're doing just that, encouraging people to get connected, to be inspired, to become a city builder. To help create more great places, Love My Hood introduced a placemaking challenge grant in 2016 that provided $10,000 in funding for pilot projects valued at $1,000 each. This year, applications have more than quadrupled, and we've committed more than $48,000 for placemaking projects located throughout the city. Projects like the one in Councillor Dave Schneider's Ward 2, being led by one of our youngest grant recipients ever, Lazar Porosky, who is here with us this evening. Not sure where Lazar is, but I know he's here somewhere. Oh, right over there. Lazar was eager to create a great place in his community that would inspire other kids to see math as creative and fun while improving regional EQAO scores. At 14 years of age, Lazar submitted a placemaking challenge grant application to build a math wall in Morrison Park. He held workshops at local elementary schools and community centers where other students could vote on the features they liked about the wall. With the help of a $6,000 placemaking grant, Lazar's vision will become a reality this July. Lazar is a city builder. Thanks for joining us tonight, Lazar. And while Lazar may be one of the youngest grant recipients we've seen in Kitchener, he isn't the only young city builder in our community. In Councillor John Gazzola's Ward 3, city building took on the form of 2 vibrant street murals last year, installed in front of Wilson Avenue Public School. Part traffic calming, part community connecting, this project enabled young people in our community to not only be involved in, but to lead the way as city builders. High school students from Eastwood Collegiate Institute provided conceptual designs for the street mural, inspired both by the community around them and the community they wanted to build. Wilson Avenue Public School students then voted on the design. They selected young artist Lauren Rube's design as the one that best celebrated their hood, and then collaborated with city staff to plan and paint the mural, creating a safer intersection that also builds community and generates neighborhood pride. Lauren and the students of Eastwood and Wilson Avenue schools are city builders. As many of you know, I'm a big Walt Disney fan. Well, Walt Disney once said that our greatest natural resource is the minds of our children. Seeing Love My Hood inspire and engage the next generation of city builders should give us all confidence that the future of our city is very bright. In addition to Walt Disney, one of the other people I became a big fan of during my days of shelving books while employed at Kitchener Public Library during my high school years was Dr. Seuss. Many Dr. Seuss books have great messages in them, and one that I enjoyed most was Oh, the Places You'll Go, where Seuss tells us, you have brains in your head, you have feet in your shoes, you can steer yourself any direction you choose. As city builders, we know that it's not enough to simply inspire our young people to dream big with the brains in their head, or to empower them to create change by steering themselves into new directions. We need to make sure we're building a city where they can see themselves growing, connecting, working, and living. While Love My Hood is building a better Kitchener by creating safe, connected, and vibrant neighborhoods, ensuring that we have a strong and diverse economy that enables people to put their talents and passion to work is equally important. Through Make It Kitchener, our 4-year economic development strategy, we've ensured that our economy continues to thrive, driven by innovators and entrepreneurs, makers and manufacturers, by developers and investors who are all inspired to be city builders. The strength of our economy has never been more dramatically apparent as it is today, driven in part by a bold decision by our regional government to invest in light rail transit, and in part by the creation of Kitchener's Innovation District. Our city centre is not only growing, it's booming. Astonishing, extraordinary, a model for the continent and the world, said city builder Rick Haldenby in the Waterloo Region Record. And with an expected $1.2 billion in building permits issued for 20 new developments in the city core by February 2019, it's hard to disagree. Kitchener's urban centre is in the midst of an unprecedented transformation as developers and investors build first-class workspaces and new residential condo units and apartments for the thousands of new residents that will call our city centre home. Developers like Frank Voisin are a valuable part of that urban evolution and our Make It Kitchener story. Frank and his brother Steve Voisin are the 3rd generation of Voisins helping build Kitchener as a great community. In the 60s and 70s, Frank Voisin Sr. started a suburban residential development company that helped build many of the neighborhoods in Forest Hill and Forest Heights. Frank's son Greg has played an instrumental role in building some of the modern-day suburban retail serving Kitchener and Waterloo's west side. And today, Greg's sons Frank and Steve recognize the important role of urban development and are helping create Kitchener's 21st century story with projects like 8 Queen Street North, part of the former Gowdy's department store and home today to tech company Vidyard, and 48 Ontario Street, the former Legion building. The Voisins are city builders. And while developers like the Voisins have helped create some of the great spaces where citizens can live and work, city builders George Tsouras, Ruth Castleman, and Kevin Wright have leveraged our region's unique innovation ecosystem to start and grow a business that protects citizens' homes from potential water damage and high water bills by using smart sensors for intelligent leak detection. Launched out of the Accelerator Center at Communitech, then growing at 44 Gaukel, Alert Labs has grown, creating meaningful and interesting jobs for 25+ people, contributing to our innovation economy. George, Ruth, and Kevin are also city builders. But it's not just the Internet of Things or technology sectors that values the talented and highly skilled people that call our region home. When Kitchener's Roadtrack Motorhomes was purchased by the Erwin-Heimer Group, the new German-based owners could have easily chosen anywhere in the world to expand their operations. They chose our region. Started by Jake Hannemeyer in 1974, Roadtrack has long provided employment to hundreds of citizens. Jake's deep commitment to our city, combined with our region's collaborative approach to economic development, advanced in part through the Waterloo Region Economic Development Corporation, showcased the competitive advantage Erwin-Heimer would benefit from by expanding here in our region. A talented workforce, a strong investment climate, and most importantly, an excellent quality of life for their people. As the new company takes Erwin-Heimer products across North America and the world, we recognize that Jake Hannemeyer and the dedicated employees of Roadtrack Erwin-Heimer have been and continue to be city builders. The opportunity to thrive in Kitchener has never been stronger, and we must recognize that attracting and retaining the skilled and talented workforce that are tomorrow's city builders requires investment in and support of arts, entertainment, and cultural events that create meaningful experiences in our region. City builders like Isabel Cisterna, founder of Neruda Arts, has been a driving force in creating a thriving arts and culture scene in our region for more than 15 years. Through creative workshops, plays, concerts, and festivals like the highly successful Coolturn Festival, Neruda and Isabel have attracted thousands of residents and visitors to our region. Most recently, for Canada's sesquicentennial anniversary, Neruda has created a sense of place in central Kitchener in the form of a 150-foot mural on Charles Street. The mural was created by a group of 150 artists who held a series of public consultations to hear people's stories and create a sweeping, epic, visual story about belonging, about who, we, and where we came from. Isabel notes that the mural is in itself 1,000 voices. It represents our country, our place in the world, and the tension that exists as we grow and realize that our past and present is complicated. But it's also a tremendous example of what people can do when they come together. Isabel is a city builder. Being surrounded by city builders like the ones I've highlighted tonight is inspiring. Each one in their own way has created something special, something that has helped make our city more connected, more caring, more livable. And while each one is unique, what they share in common is the ability to pursue their passions with the support of a strong local government. Strong financial leadership is critical in our ability to allow citizens to take the lead in doing great things in our community, while the city supports them along the way. The budgets passed during this term of council continue to build an innovative, caring, and vibrant city in an affordable, sustainable manner, maintaining funding for existing programs and services while also investing in new resources for the parts of our city people value most, things like our parks, trails, and of course, our neighborhoods. In Councillor Sarah Marsh's Ward 10, the Queen Street Placemaking Project will create a pedestrian-first plaza complete with decorative sidewalks and intersection design and the redevelopment of nearby green space. And in Councillor Scott Davies' Ward 1, we've completely revitalized one of Kitchener's great gems, Kiwanis Park. Originally a centennial project, Kiwanis Park will reopen this summer with a fully renovated pool and a new spray feature. As a result of the diligent efforts of successful councils today, Kitchener has one of the most affordable taxation levels amongst large municipalities in Ontario, and our debt levels continue to decrease at a time when many municipalities are adding to their debt load. And while we take pride in being one of the most affordable cities in the province in which to live, we know that citizens' expectations continue to grow, and we can't build our city alone. That's why during this past term, we worked together with our partners within the region and organized Waterloo Region Advocacy Days, both on Parliament Hill and at Queen's Park. Ensuring that the needs of Kitchener and Waterloo region are top of mind with decision makers in Ottawa and Toronto is key to see progress in areas such as affordable housing, dealing with the opioid crisis, and addressing the mental health challenges being faced in urban centres. It's also why we need the support of other orders of government to deliver on commitments to enhance infrastructure and transit, like two-way all-day GO, and the recent $11 billion announcement for high-speed rail, the single largest commitment in Ontario's 2018 budget. But as I've said, strong cities are not built by governments alone. In this region, we've seen a long history of philanthropic donations to community organizations, from our hospitals and universities to cultural institutions like the Centre in the Square. In fact, just this past year, we saw a $1 million donation from the Marskell family to the museum and a $200,000 donation from the Hefner family to the Kitchener Public Library Digital Lab, now called the Hefner Studio. As a city, we know we need the support of new partners and sponsors who share our values and commitment to city building to support the amenities residents value most. To encourage those new partnerships, Council approved and implemented a new strategic partnership policy, for the first time ever, providing an opportunity for civic-minded individuals and businesses to partner with the city on everything from strategic advertising to sponsorship and naming rights of an approved list of facilities, programs, and spaces. While still a relatively new strategy, we already are seeing success in our municipal partnership program. City builders like Hefner Lexus Toyota, Playball Academy, and Teppermans have signed on as sponsors of neighborhood camps, baseball facilities, and the lounge space at Sports World Arena. And tonight, I'm pleased to share with you that we are joined by some very special guests who are committing one of the largest municipal sponsorships in our region's history. It is fitting that the first multi-million-dollar sponsorship the city has received comes from a family who epitomize city building, the Schlegel family. The Schlegel's legacy of city building has deep roots in our community. From the development of neighborhoods in Southwest Kitchener to long-term care and retirement communities, to state-of-the-art facilities that allow people to age in place gracefully and to receive dignified, respectful mental health and addiction care, the Schlegels have long contributed to the health and well-being of our city. It gives me great pride to announce today that the Schlegels' legacy as city builders continues with a $2.3 million investment in what will be the region's largest, most comprehensive district park. As a result of this investment, the South Kitchener District Park will be renamed RBJ Schlegel Park. Currently under construction, RBJ Schlegel Park will bring much-needed active and passive recreation space to Southwest Kitchener, and will become a destination park for users from across the entire region. The first phase of the park will include artificial and natural turf, multi-purpose sports fields, and a football field, as well as open community event space, playground, and splash play facilities and multi-use pathways and trails. RBJ Schlegel Park will be a tremendous asset for all citizens in Kitchener, and it's a much-needed amenity in Councillor Kelly Galloway-Seelock's Ward 5. I don't think it's a stretch to say that without Kelly's advocacy for her constituents and her perseverance on bringing this much-needed park to her growing ward, RBJ Schlegel Park would not be set to open next year. When complete, RBJ Schlegel Park will be a jewel not only in South Kitchener, but in the region as a whole. It'll be one of the largest, most active parks in the city, with a pool, an indoor sports facility, outdoor entertainment space, and more. But rather than me tell you about what this amazing space will be, let's have a look at what's underway in South Kitchener. Over the years, I've certainly been a big advocate for investment in our parks as well as our trail system.
Parks are really important for our community, and especially in this area where the demographic is so young.
The City of Kitchener has undertaken the initiative of looking at creating more sponsorships for some of our municipal assets, particularly things like parks, trails, and different recreational facilities.
We're developing communities in this area, and so the folks that we're selling houses to and are becoming community members here will have a chance to enjoy that, but I think it has the potential of, in fact, supporting the entire city and beyond. There was a few different motivations for becoming involved in this, and part of it was to really honor the legacy of my maternal grandparents who farmed in this area their entire lives. We thought it was very, very appropriate to honor their legacy by making this sort of investment.
I think there's a number of different ways my family will be using RBJ Schlegel Park. Having 3 young boys, they're definitely going to be interested in the new features of this park.
Fundamentally what we do is build communities that are hopefully healthy and active and available to all ages. So it was very much aligned with who we are, and also we thought it was important, as you enjoy a bit of success as an organization, it's important to give back.
On behalf of all of us in the City of Kitchener, a heartfelt thank you for this generous contribution that is going to really make a difference in the lives of thousands of people of all ages, not only in the Southwest but throughout Waterloo region. Please join me in acknowledging Ron and Barb Schlegel, their sons Brad, Jamie, and Rob Schlegel and their families for this historic investment in building a stronger, healthier, more connected city. I'm sure you'll all agree the Schlegels are city builders. We're almost there, folks. As I stand here tonight amongst you, talking about the city builders who have helped develop safe neighborhoods, who have contributed to our diverse and vibrant economy, and who have leveraged the advantages of a strong local government, it is not lost on me that there are likely hundreds of other stories I could have shared, and hundreds more I have yet to hear. And that, my friends, is the secret power of our community, the thing that truly makes us unique. We are all city builders. In my office, I have a print on my wall called The Essence of Success, and it reads as follows: "Successful is the person who has lived well, laughed often, and loved much, who has gained the respect of children, who leaves the world better than they found it, who has never lacked appreciation for the earth's beauty, who never fails to look for the best in others or give the best of themselves." Friends, as we leave today, I invite you to join me and join others from our community in this journey of success. We have an incredible community, but there's still much work to be done. So I ask you to leave today reflecting on what you can do to give the best of yourself every day, so that we can all leave this community and this world better than we found it. I invite you to join me so that you too can be a city builder. Thank you very much.